Hey y'all, welcome back to A Potent Dose of Three. My name is Linda.
I'm Kathy.
And I'm Jazz.
And we're here to bring you your weekly dose. Let's get into it.
So what's something like dumb or a whoopsie that has happened to you during clinicals?
Oh boy. It happened recently. So I volunteer in the department. I was volunteering in SDU and they moved me to the med surge. Or they asked me if I could work med surge. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And the layouts of the floors are pretty much the exact same. And I went to a room and I noticed that the patient's condom catheter was basically off. And so I looked at my sheet where it has all the nurses and the assignments, and I went to the nurse and I was like, hey, because I was new. I was shy. Excuse me. I was like, one of your patients, their condom catheter fell off. And I was like, I learned this. I know this. It's called the condom catheter.
Like, I am smart.
Yeah,
I know it's a condom catheter.
I had previously learned it. And I was like, I know what it is. Mm-hmm. And so she was like, my patient does not have a condom catheter. And I was like, oh, maybe it's not called that. And so I was like, oh, okay. She must know what she's talking about. And then I'm like, I go back to the room, I check, I look, and I'm like, no, it's called a condom catheter. So I go back and I'm like, excuse me. No, yeah, he does have a condom catheter and it's not on. And she goes, no, he doesn't have one. And I'm like, girl, I saw it. Like, it's off, And I go back again to the room, not trusting myself. And I'm like, maybe it's not called a condom catheter. Maybe you don't know your And then I go back and I was like, no, Jasmine, have some confidence in yourself. So I go back and I'm like, hey, he does have a condom catheter. And now she's looking at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah, because I'm looking at you like you crazy too. I'm trying to see it was like, what's going on?
I was having like internal conflict. Like, maybe I know this, maybe I don't. Anyways, I look back at the assignment sheet and I realized she's not the nurse. So I felt dumb. And yeah.
Wait, how did you get that like confused though?
Because the corners of the like layout, they look the exact same. And I think I just got.
So your ass was on the wrong side of the hospital, like the side.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to see myself doing that.
I got discombobulated from being moved up a floor.
Yeah, because after you get comfortable in one floor and they move you to the other, it's like, where's everything again?
I think I was like on edge. I'm like, okay, like this is a different floor, even though they're the exact same. And I just, yeah. So that was that.
Okay, should I go next?
Yeah.
For me, it happened recently as well during my peds preceptorship. What was it? Like back in December, a while ago, I guess from now. Anyway, so I had this patient. He was cute. He was a little boy, and he was playing like a video game on his phone. Like all kids love video games. So he was playing the video game, and I, as I was taking his blood pressure and his vitals, I wanted to like come up with have like some type of conversation while I was like helping the kid. So he was like playing like some type of Pokemon video game. And I was like, oh, I see you're playing Pokemon. Were you one of those kids that used to play Pokemon Go back in the day when, you're in the community and you have to find the Pokemon?
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, It was like a big thing.
Yeah.
So I was like,
I played it.
It was big.
You played it?
Yeah.
I would drive to the place and be like, oh, the Pokemon's right here. Let me catch it.
That would never fly with these gas prices right now.
No, I never played. So I'm like, I said that. And he looked at me sad. No, unfortunately, I can't play. And looked at his legs. I'm like, oh, so and still in my head. So I paused and I looked at him. I was like, oh, shit, he looking at me. I'm looking at him. He looking at me. I looked at the mom. I'm like, oh, shit, Linda, how are you going to play this out? I was like, you can still play. Because technically, he still could have played Pokemon Go. But I felt bad because I said it. And his reasoning behind it was because, he couldn't walk. And I was like, damn. So I felt so bad. It was awkward. Aww. I know. So that was like an awkward moment. I was like, how do I play this off? And I played it off. I was like, it's okay. I never played either.
He's like, you got legs, girl.
Exactly. He was the cutest kid.
To try to be like, you're not the only one. It's okay.
It's okay. I didn't play either. So that was like my short story. Don't come for me. It's just something that happened.
Yeah, it happened.
It happened.
Yeah.
You'll get a lot of awkward moments like that. Like when it's like, dang.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Kathy?
For me, it was a dumb moment, girl. So my day started off, my nurse was like, it was like the med surg rotation, and her day was like rough. And I was trying to just help her because I'm like, girl, I'm here to help you to like make your
day better.
shift better. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm walking down the hallway and the charge nurse for that floor already knows me because I'm always there. And she's like, hey, Catherine, I need you to grab a Dynamap and I need you to go take an orthostatic pressure in this patient for the doctor like now. And I'm like, yeah, don't worry, I got it. Then I'm like, what the hell is a Dynamap? Like, I blanked. And then I was like, and what's orthostatic?
Oh, gosh.
And I was like, but obviously I'm not going to say that to her. Like, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, actually you want to pretend. Fake it till you make it.
Right. And I was like, I'm like, orthostatic. Background story. I've been taught for 2 semesters what's an orthostatic blood pressure and how to take it. But I just blanked out. It was early in the morning. Yeah. It was like 8 a.m. I've been awake since like 4. So no. So then I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, you had to work as a team. Let me find one of the nurses that are just like cool with me. And I go up to the nurse and I'm like, hey, what's a Dynamap? And then he's like, it's the vital sign machine. And I was like, oh, and what's an orthostatic? and then he's like, oh, just you got to take the blood pressure laying down, sitting up and standing up. And I'm like, oh, that's right. Yeah, I know what that is.
They make things so difficult.
Yeah.
That's why. It's not you. It's them, Kathy.
No, you get tired, during your shifts and stuff.
Yeah,
it happens.
Yeah, I feel like when, in my case, I was awake since 4. And then it was like 7, 8, like, I was still asleep.
Blame it on not having coffee.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, that was my situation. But then I figured it out, and the task got done.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
By the way, during my situation, I hadn't drank my coffee yet. Just saying.
It was the coffee.
So, long story short, guys, it's okay to have whoopsie moments, or basically dumb moments, because
it is, because now they love me.
Exactly.
And then nobody's perfect.
Well, let's get into your episode, Jasmine.
Okay, sounds good. So, when I first graduated college, I had the intention of applying to medical school, but I didn't have the grades, nor did I know anything about the process, like nothing, absolutely nothing. So I learned a lot during my post-bac, and I just wanted to share like a little bit of guidance on the process of applying, maybe like things that you can't really find or you don't really hear about too much. So you applied to the American Medical College Application Service, which is AAMCAS, if you want to go to medical school. You could also do you could do MD, which is medical doctor. You could do doctor of osteopath, which I'm sure you guys don't know too much about. And I didn't know either. But basically a DO, they're still doctors, but they learn everything that an MD learns, but they also learn additional stuff. They learn osteopathic manipulative medicine. And so this is just where you learn how to move muscles and joints. You use pressure and resistance to basically make the body feel better. It's like more of a holistic approach.
Nice.
Wow.
So you treat the body as a whole. You're not just like treating the symptoms, And for DOs, it's the same thing, but you get 300 to 500 extra hours where they emphasize and they teach you about the musculoskeletal system. So that's an option too. And for that, you would apply to the American Association of Colleges of Osteopathic Medicine. And so that's AMCOMAS, AMCOMAS. But to apply to either, you need science courses. And so I recommend, if you don't know where to start, you go to the AAMC website, and they have basically a list of classes by schools of what courses you need. Obviously, I'm sure you guys had to do this too, but you need letters of recommendation. So what they would require of you is 2 science recommendations. So basically, you go to your science teachers. You ask them for letters of recommendation. And I know that's kind of awkward. It's something I learned through my post-bac. How do you ask for letters of recommendation, right?
Yeah,
how do you do it? Like
it's hard.
Yep.
It's awkward, right? So something I learned was when you're in that class, there's so many students. Like, how do you stand out? Basically, you email the professor and you basically tell them like, hey, I am really excited about your class. I want to succeed. Can you please give me some like tips on what I can do to be successful in this class? You could also even ask them like, hey, can I meet with you one-on-one? meet with them one-on-one. I mean, it's probably better to meet with them one-on-one so they see your face. Yeah. They see your face, they know who you are. So when they see you in class, they know who you are. And then if you ask for this guidance in the beginning of the course, they will know who you are from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
Go to office hours. Ask questions. I know it's really hard because I was shy. I didn't like to ask questions in class. So what I did, I would go to office hours and ask them. It's smaller classes with office hours. It'd be like less people. I wasn't as shy to ask the questions. And so that's a good way to stand out in your class full of however many students you have.
Yeah, I feel like I struggled the same with you about like just being too shy to ask questions in class. So I feel like you giving the tips like, one-on-one office hours, that's a great way for the professors to get to know you. And like also, like you said, I'm just adding on to do it in the beginning when the semester first starts, because you don't want to be one of the students. I feel like we all may have been there. Is like the teacher didn't hear from you all semester. At the end of the semester, you struggling in something, or you like something great, like you want like a new grade, and then all of a sudden like, hey professor, like what can I do now to get my thing?
Yeah, and even to us, like for a letter of recommendation, like they don't know you, so they need to get to know you so they could write like a great letter of recommendation. So that's a great tip that you're given, that they build a relationship from the beginning. That when at the end, when you need that letter of recommendation, they really know you and they know what to say about you, and it's not gonna look like a generic letter of rec.
Or I'm just reaching out because I want a letter of rec.
Yeah.
Like,
and in my opinion, to them, it proved that I was really taking their course serious. Like I really wanted to succeed. And so at the end, it made it way less awkward to ask them for that letter of recommendation. They knew who I was. They knew me,
Yeah,
so
they wanted to. They probably told you like, oh, if you ever need anything, reach out to me and I'll write you a letter of recommendation.
They did. And I was like, wow, that was easy. I don't know. That just really helped me a lot. So I highly recommend you do that. So you need 2 letters of recommendation from your professor from a science course you've taken, 2 of those. And then you'll need one that's a non-science course. So ask like someone else, like another professor
or something.
Mm-hmm. No, like another professor, but not science course related.
Okay.
So English or something, or something like that. And then you will also need 2 to 3 other letters that were like either your supervisors, whether it was like job related or extracurricular activities. So kind of like a total of maybe like 5-6 letters.
And is this based off of like just that one post-bac program you applied to, or do you think this is like universal in a way?
I believe this would be more universal.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then so after letters, you make sure you do get your extracurriculars in. Like we said, you need to stand out. It can't just be your GPA. So like Linda said, internships, you could do undergrad labs, like you can work in undergrad labs at your college. You can do independent research. You can apply to jobs, like you can apply to jobs where you can get lab work. You need physician shadow. You need to shadow physicians. You need to shadow doctors. And if you're like not sure if you want to apply to MD or DO, right? Make sure you kind of have one of each, because some DO programs, they will require a DO shadowing and not just a MD. So make sure you at least shadow one of each.
So it's a requirement for you to shadow a doctor? Or is...
I would say yes. It looks good. It shows that you kind of know what you're getting yourself into.
Okay.
Because one thing, even with me, when I applied to nursing school, when I got the interview from Azusa Pacific, like one of the questions that the lady asked, like, oh, have you ever shadowed an NP? Have you ever talked to an NP, like work alongside with them? So it's, you stand out. Like if you already have the experience, you already know like the role and everything, because you got to shadow and get that hands-on experience with the doctor. So
yeah, I highly recommend shadowing MDs and DOs. Obviously, clinical volunteering at hospitals, EMT, scribing. You could also do like medical assistant, like volunteer work, during COVID, how people were doing like the COVID tests. You could do that. But something that's really good too, that I feel like a lot of people don't really know that really you can also use for volunteer, is you can tutor, like, go to your local schools and provide tutoring. You can volunteer at homeless shelters, like do community service. You can volunteer at senior living communities. You can do Boys and Girls Club. You can do Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts. You could anything too. It would help to get like leadership roles, clubs, doing clubs in college and things like that. So those are really good extracurriculars to have.
Nice.
And something that we're going to talk about next, one of the most hated tests in the world, the MCAT. So the MCAT is basically the test that you take to apply. You take it, and when you get your score, you can apply to colleges. And your score, a lot of people say you have to have a certain score. That's not necessarily the case. The score really depends on the program, whether it's MD or DO. It depends on the school, whether it's East Coast, West Coast. It depends really on like what school you're applying to. And it's like with your GPA too, it depends on your GPA. You have a high GPA, you may not need as high of a MCAT score. It's like a teeter-totter. It's like you're balancing everything, really. And honestly, the MCAT registration was really difficult. Make sure you wake up early, 8 a.m. Central Time. It's weird. So like when you register for certain dates. So like October 25th and October 26th will be the registration dates for like January to June. On February 22nd, that registration's for test dates from July to September. If you're going to register, make sure that you have multiple locations planned out ahead of time. Don't expect to get the location or the time or the date that you want, because there's a lot of people that come in and are trying to take your date and your time. You can be on the wait list. You could be number 300 or number 13,000.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not understand. I did not realize it was that like difficult just to get a test day.
Yeah. So you're just sitting there and you're just waiting for it to let you into the system to pick your test.
This reminds me of when I was trying to get the Jordans. Like, this is
That's
crazy,
exactly.
girl. Like, what the heck? I was trying to... Okay, so I was a sneakerhead back in the day, and I would literally have 2 laptops trying to get those damn, like, shoes. So I'm assuming this is how the MCAT is.
It'd be like that.
Crazy.
Stressful. Yes. Yeah, so just have multiple dates picked out, because you may not get the day or the location you want. Some people travel to different states to take the test because they want it that day, and then they can't take it at the location. So, like, I almost went to... Where was it? I think I was going to go to Colorado or Ohio. I was going to go to Ohio. But something that you can do, if let's say you don't get the test date that you want, right? You can sign up, give them your email, and they will email you when a slot becomes open at the location that you want or the day you want. And it happens a lot. A lot of people get scared like the month before and they drop out. So you could do that. You can sign up and they will tell you when the day or the location becomes available.
So it sounds like you need to be checking your email all the time.
Yeah, I'd be on it. Yeah. Definitely. Let's see. So the cost, it's a nice penny. It's $330. That's a lot of money. I know it's a lot of money for a lot of people. But you can apply for the fee waiver, and that brings it down to $135, which is still a lot of money, but it's a lot better.
And especially because a lot of people take the test more than once. So if I were to take the test, I have to pay like each time.
Yeah.
So that adds up. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And if you, let's say you want to move your date, you have to pay to move your date. Like, I think I moved it and my total cost was like $500 or something because I wanted to move it, because it depends, but they charge like $50 to $100 to move your date.
Absolutely not.
Hell no.
Yeah. And so for the fee waiver too, on top of getting your MCAT reduced, it's really cool. I would check into it. They can also pay for like the schools that you apply to. I think it's up to 20 schools.
So for the fee waiver, can anyone just apply to get a fee waiver, or do you have to have like some type of like social economic? That's not the word I'm looking for.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So for the fee waiver, it's based off of like income and like people in your household, but you do have to put your parents on there when you apply. But if you're 26, you don't have to, which I was older than 26, so I got lucky.
Yeah, because that's not fair. Because I feel like even if I was 24, I feel like I'm grown. Why would I want to put my parents on there? So
yeah, and that happened to me when I was an undergrad, and I wasn't living with my parents or anything. And my parents, they were not supporting me, but in paper, like, they do have more money than I did, and I wasn't living with them. And then I was like, wait, like, do I have to include my parents? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, but I was like, I'm 22. I don't live with them. I don't depend.
yeah, they're not supporting you at all.
They're not supporting me.
To.
Why do I have to? So it's, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, that system's a little weird because that is the case for a lot of people, and it's not kind of fair to have to put your parents when you don't really depend on them. But yeah, that's just the way they do it. So there are a lot of things you can use to study for the MCAT. MCAT Official Prep Hub. I believe that when you pay for your MCAT, through AMCUS or through MCAT, they give you like materials that you can use. So they have like study questions, free tests you can take, and things like that. But there's also second party materials, so you can use like Blueprint. That's what I used, and I Googled, I researched, I used Reddit, and Blueprint is pretty close to the MCAT. And then you can do Princeton. Jack Weston is free. Highly recommend it when you're studying for CARS. CARS is like the English portion of the test, which is actually one of the hardest, I think, parts of the test for many people.
How many parts of the test are there?
You have your, I think there's 4. Why am I saying I think? I took this thing.
I know.
I'm like, what you mean?
Sorry, the trauma. Yeah, so there's the physics chem section. You get a 10-minute break. Then you have the car section, which is the English. And then you get lunch break, so that's 30 minutes. And then you have your biochem section. And then you get a 10-minute break. And then you have your psychology, sociology section.
So that sounds like a lot. How long is the whole test?
I think altogether with everything, it's like 8 hours.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So the English part, is it just like reading or writing, or is it everything to like all that?
The English portion. So the English portion, basically, I think you have 90 minutes, and they give you 9 basically passages. And in those 9 passages, you read the passages and you answer 5 to 7 questions. Yeah, so it's like 53 questions and all the reading, and you have to do it within the 90 minutes. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Sounds intense.
Yeah. And then, so you have the Jack Weston. Highly recommend that for cars. I believe I just said that. And then Anki, which I ended up using. Anki. You guys know about Anki, huh?
Yes. Yeah. For that farm and physio class that I took my first semester, it came in clutch.
Yeah, Anki. So I actually discovered Anki on Reddit. What I mean by that is there's this guy who's really well known on Reddit for the MCAT. And the reason why is because he made a stack. And he made a nice stack. It's very nice. It's, I believe, like 4,000 flashcards. And he basically has everything that's like you probably see on the MCAT. He has photos and things and diagrams.
Nice.
It's really nice.
And if you guys want whoever this guy she's talking about, you got to follow us on IG and DM Jasmine on IG at a potent dose to ask, like, who is this guy? I need the stack of cards and flashcards.
Oh, girl, I almost said it.
I know. That's why I wanted to stop you before you said, say, come to us. We're not going to give you all the tea. Come to us, ask for it, and Jasmine will provide.
Yeah, no, it was really good.
Nice.
It's really good. And then you can also watch a YouTube video, which side note, I watched a YouTube video where he tells you how to set up your deck to the most efficient way to learn. And I went through the process, and I like had 2 screen opens and was like following all his. I was proud of myself. I felt like a little techie. But anyways, if you're going to need exam accommodations, I highly recommend you do that super, super in advance, because I think that process takes months. I believe what I remember hearing, because I called them, it takes about 6 months, because you have to go through like doctor, like a doctor's note or something. They have to basically like, you have to get a doctor's note, but then you have to go through like another doctor. It was weird.
Wow.
It was a lot.
They're probably trying to make sure that the person's not lying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're hardcore, man.
I know, because I remember. Well, can I say this? I remember when you told me that you have to use like your fingerprint.
Yeah.
The fuck.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Wait, fingerprint for what?
So when you go into the MCAT, you're not allowed to take anything with you in the room. You can't take water. You can't take anything. And so also, like, they don't want people taking tests for other people. So you fingerprint in and out of the room.
You may not know this, Kathy, but you do the same thing for your nursing board.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
The exam, I'm looking at you like, you didn't know that, but yeah, it's the same thing for nursing board.
And you know how they treat you like a criminal?
Yeah.
You gotta lift up your shirt. I had to lift up my hair. They were like looking in my hair.
You gotta put all your cell phone like in this little bag that you have to leave closed.
If you open it, you are in trouble. Mm-hmm. I think your exam is probably like, it doesn't count.
I don't think no one's that crazy to open it. Hopefully not.
Some people don't listen.
That is true.
See, I'm already anxious because this year I have to take the NCLEX, and now you tell me all this. How am I gonna be sweating?
No. I will give you this though. The place that you went
do
to
at the same place, yeah. The Pearson.
The staff was so nice.
Yeah, they're really nice.
They're so nice. Like, I was so nervous. I was shaking when I was like registering. He goes, "Don't worry, you'll be okay."
They're probably used. It's crazy, but they're probably used to being around so much anxiety.
Yeah.
Because even when I was there to take my nursing boards, like, someone was praying. This girl was like walking back and forth, and I was like trying to, calm myself down. But seeing all that, I was like, oh my gosh, now I'm getting nervous.
I think I'm going to have to bring an inhaler because it's going to be one of those times that I'm going to be so nervous. I'm going to have like an asthma
you can't
attack.
take that. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I'm like, oh, hell no. Now I'm dead.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to give a few more MCAT tips. For your exam, when you're studying, if you get things right, still study that, because it's ABC, it's multiple choice. You might have got lucky and you might not know why you got that right. So just study that. Make sure you sleep well and you get like a sleep schedule right before, because it's a long test and you don't want to get tired. So you want to make sure your sleep schedule is on point and that you simulate when you take that test the same time that you would take the original test. Let's see. Try to just take care of your body too, because I had a few breakdowns, as you guys know, studying for that test. And for cars, for the English portion, just one more, because it's really, really hard. Highly recommend you read a lot. Reading a lot will help you, because sometimes when I was reading, I was like, what did I just read? I had no idea what I read. Like, some of the material is bizarre. You have to pretend when you're reading that it's so interesting, like that you love what you're reading, that it's the most interesting thing you've ever read. Fake it till you make it, basically, right?
Fake it till you make it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they highly recommend doing word searches for that, because when they ask you a question, you're going to be word searching. Sometimes you don't have time to read the whole thing, so you're going to do word searches so you know how to find things really easy, because for each passage you have maybe under 10 minutes to read and answer the questions.
Read, comprehend, and answer the question.
Yeah, so word searches are really good. And maybe like read news articles, and then highly recommend YouTubing strategies on the different approaches to take for the different question types, because they're gonna have different types of questions. Do not highlight everything. If you highlight everything, it's just gonna be a yellow page, and you're not gonna know where to find what. And then for psych soc, just memorize terms, work on flashcards, and for the chem, phys, and bio, I told my friends to make study sheets. You make those study sheets, put them up on the wall, read them while you're washing dishes, read them while you're cooking. Make it like, what is it, first nature? Second nature?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, like first nature.
Yeah, first nature. Make it where you can see the material and it becomes natural to you. And just understand why you made the mistakes and learn from them. And mnemonics. Mnemonics are amazing.
They are, especially for farm. I'm just saying.
I thought you were going to say, especially the dirty ones.
Yeah, those two, they stick hella fast. Like, if you see me taking a test, I take tests in med surg and pharm and physio, and like I'm in the computer. I'm talking to myself. I'm saying monkeys eat bananas. I don't care. Like I know what I mean. Like those are my medications. Bam.
That's funny. So you know what? It's not just the MCAT. You also have to take the Casper.
Yeah, that was what I was going to add on. Your MCAT sounds like ridiculous. So basically, her MCAT is the entry, like an entry test to even apply to med school.
Yeah.
For us, it was the
HESI.
The HESI or the T's. And it was not that stressful.
No.
It was stressful, but not that stressful.
Well, thank you for saying that because it's very common for you to have to take the MCAT more than once.
Mm-hmm.
I've already taken it 2 times.
Oh, yeah. Tell us.
Yeah, the first time I did not do good at all.
So what is considered good and bad?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it really depends on like where you're applying and what school and what, like, you know, like, do you want to stay in California? Because California is really competitive, right? California is one of the most competitive.
For everything.
Everything.
Yeah. So basically, I think to be even considered competitive, you would need like above 500 or 500 and above to even like consider applying. Average, I think what I was reading was like 511.
511 is average.
High score, like you're freaking smart. You like didn't miss much. 528.
Wow.
Whoa,
I did not know it was that high.
dude.
Yeah. So it's intense. And if you're taking your MCAT and you didn't do good the first time, it's okay. Because I've met a lot of people who have taken it multiple times and got in. I wanted to shout out my friends. They took it and they just got accepted into medical school.
Nice. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And you're not alone. I took it more than once and I still am not really content with my score, but I'm going to go ahead and apply anyways because
She has extracurriculars. She has her resume to like back her up.
And you don't know until you apply.
Yeah.
In your head, you're like saying, "Oh, it's not good enough. It's not good enough." But it's good enough for somebody.
Yeah. One thing my boyfriend told me is you won't know unless you shoot your shot.
Exactly.
So I'm going to shoot that shot.
Yep.
Yeah. So on top of the MCAT, right, you have to take the Casper, and I'm not going to go too indefinite, but Casper is basically like a computer-based assessment where it samples your personal characteristics. It's 90 to 110 minutes. And basically it's going to ask you questions, and you're going to respond in text. You're also going to respond with video. So it's going to be a video recording of you.
All this to apply for medical, so you got to take 2 tests just to be applied.
No, there's more.
We did something similar to that for the HESI, but it doesn't count against us. It's just like a personality test to see what type of nurse you will be. So they'll ask questions like, "Are you a caring person?" I don't know. Like it gives you that.
Oh,
They do
yeah.
the same
I
thing.
almost forgot.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
tell.
It's been a while. I'm
Same.
sorry.
No, it's kind of the same thing, like you said, Linda.
Damn.
Yeah, so you'll do text, you'll type the answer, and then there's some where you'll like speak to it, and you'll have about 3 to 5 minutes to respond. And they're basically testing like your ethics, your communication, and your empathy.
Okay, now I'm confused because if they're testing this before they apply to medical schools, and there's still some doctors who have no empathy,
They were faking it till you make it.
like what the hell? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Sorry,
People
continue.
lie.
And just a tip for this, which I learned from my post-bac and from my advisors, they understand that some of these situations are hard, and acknowledge both sides. Be like, I get this side and I get this side. Acknowledge both sides. Don't just say, hey, I'm going to choose this side because of this. No. Acknowledge that this is a difficult situation and that you understand both sides are very difficult and why you are taking that whatever stance you end up taking.
It's crazy that you mentioned that because I don't know if I will get in trouble, but for my interview for the program that I'm in now, like it was something similar to that. Like I had to respond to it, and I took like both sides. It's like, yes, this nurse did something wrong, but I understand like why he did it. But he, I explained both sides. I wasn't biased. Like,
and that
that's
shows
why I
that you
did it.
have empathy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So basically acknowledge both sides. And at the end, when you do take that stance, why are you taking that stance? On top of that, you'll have snapshot. Snapshot is going to be a recorded interview where you will demonstrate your communication and provide info about what motivated you to pursue medical school. That's about 10 to 15 minutes. That's all I'm really going to say about duet. Sorry, snapshot. Then you have duet. Duet is untimed, and this is where they basically are looking for what you look in a med school and how you align with a certain medical school. And it's more like a survey.
For all these tests, are there like different dates that you have to sign up for them, or how is that?
Well, the thing about some of these, not MCAT. MCAT is basically required. It's some of these tests are newer, so some of them are not required. It depends on the school. Like one school might want it, one school will not want it. So you just have to kind of like look.
And is there a score that they give you at the end, or
yeah, you do get a score for Casper, I believe. Snapshot, I'm not sure, because I think I only got up to Casper when I when I took the MCAT the first time, so I can't tell you further on those, but yeah. And then I'm just gonna quickly touch on the application, because application's pretty crucial to applying. So you're gonna have a primary, and that primary you're gonna write about you're going to do a personal statement. The personal statement will be 5,300 characters. Something I learned was that pretty much most people, when they do their personal statement, they talk about what they've like experienced in terms of, I volunteered here, I did this, I did that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's what you have other parts of your application for. What you want to put in your personal statement is, why do you deserve to be at the table, and what value do you bring to medicine? So that's what you want to focus on, and you want to create a theme within that within the writing. And go ahead.
Sorry, and that's similar to applying to nursing school as well. Like exactly what you said. 'Cause I feel like we didn't touch on personal statements at all, really. So what Jasmine is saying, that works for healthcare in general, I'm going to say.
Right. And then you're going to have experience descriptions. And this is kind of where you're like, basically, it's kind of like where you're saying, this is what I've done. So you're going to talk about your jobs and your volunteer, where you volunteered, things like that. And they're going to want about 15 experiences. And in these experiences, you're going to talk about what did you do and what did you learn. And these will be 700 characters. On top of the experience descriptions, you're going to want to have, I think, 3 meaningful experiences, and these will be 1,325 characters. These are going to be the most meaningful things that you've done. And so you're going to talk about how this changed you, and how does this relate to medicine? Like how do you see yourself? What did you do, and how does that relate to medicine, basically? And then not everybody will write this, but you also have a chance to talk about the disadvantages that you've had in life. So it's a disadvantage statement, and this is optional. This will be 1,325 characters, and your disadvantage could be academic, right? So like, for example, we didn't have the best education. The best education and growing up and things like that. Environmental. Actually, that's more Oakland. But yeah. So you have academic, economic, or environmental. And then after your primary, you will have a secondary. Secondaries will be, each school will send you your secondaries. And this is basically, it's more like personalized to the schools, you know? And some will send you the secondaries right away. Some you may not even get past the primary.
So the secondary is more like, oh, I'm interested in you. Like, give me more information on how you, I know, for the school.
Yeah, so some you may get a secondary right away, and some you may not even have passed enough, like the primary to get to the secondary.
Preliminary.
Yeah, and secondaries are rough. But I think the whole thing is rough, actually.
Yes.
And that's the end of my discussion.
Thank you for sharing. I feel like I learned so much, because I like, I don't know, like this whole process is not talked about. All they talked about is like, you just got to take the MCAT and apply. And you're like, oh, okay, that sounds fairly easy.
No.
Air quotes. But it's not.
It's not.
a whole thing.
It's like a lot. And like even like the way you're like, no, you don't say this there. You say this here. Or the way you say it or how you say it. It's very detailed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like it's a whole game plan. You have to come with a whole game plan in order for you to like get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for sharing. Thank you for all the tips and all the tricks. And if you want further like more information about it, just go into like our Instagram, like Linda saying, to a potent dose of 3, or you could email us at apotentdoseof3@gmail.com.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll probably put this all together and be able to give it to them once they
reach out.
Yeah, reach out.
Mm-hmm.
And also we'll provide the links to the websites Jasmine was talking about in the bio of this episode. Anything else?
I'm trying to think. Mm-hmm. I know the process seems very intimidating. I get intimidated by it. I try to take it one step at a time. I call them baby steps. I'm taking my baby steps, and I will get there. And so will you.
You will.
And you're doing great.
Thank you.
You'll get there. I already know you will. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thank you.
Ciao.